always get so nervous before I do these things.
Yeah? How long you been doing them?
Well, see, my podcast journey started shortly before I moved here,
Okay.
which was in December of 2019.
Okay,
so
cool.
right before the pandemic.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Shit.
I had only a couple interviews at the last place I lived.
Where were you at before this?
So I was by the airport, and my roommate, I was at a house, and the dude is a music or a sound engineer.
Okay, cool.
He graduated from Belmont. Oh, no, he didn't graduate. I think he made it to like his final. I think he had like one or something classes to go. I remember, and he dropped out of Belmont. I was around. I was like,
Yeah,
dude.
That's
But that's a common tale
it is a common tale.
for Belmont.
Absolutely. Nobody makes it.
Yeah, but it was if I was smart, I should have, because I wasn't really into like that kind of stuff at the time. But if I had known better, I should have just absorbed all the information from that dude.
Of course, yeah.
That
you never do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we are started. I guess I should
Cool,
introduce you. I guess David Welsh,
Hi.
from the
I'm
Things
Dave.
with Feathers. Man, I saw your show at the Exit Inn, and it was
Dude.
it was great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
And since
that.
then, you were at South by Southwest, which has got to be fun.
Yeah, that was a trip and a half,
Yeah,
man.
but anyway, going back to the whole podcast thing, we'll get into what you do later. But
Cool.
I would like to get to know you first, and
Absolutely.
I've only had a few interviews under my belt, and when I go back and listen to my old ones, it's bad when you bore yourself. And I'm like, so how do I? So I had to,
Sure.
and so, I have like some of these guys come on, like singers and artists and stuff, and I'm like, so who's your inspiration? Instead of like actually getting to know the person.
Sure.
And I'm like a podcast aficionado,
Okay.
and I wanted to get into it with very little equipment. It's just me. And yeah, then I move here. I interview Graham and Joseph Jett.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I had
Joe's
seen.
helping us with some shows.
Yeah. I love. Oh my gosh, what a guy.
Yeah. And Graham, is that Graham Latterman?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah. So it was really cool right off the bat, and then what was it like? Early 2020, everything just shut
Right.
down, and that was it. And I was
Stuff.
like, I could have gone. That was a good time, I feel like, because we had all this time and everyone was at home. That would have been a really good time to do like Zoom interviews and to like really
Sure.
establish or like have but I was so, it's a personal problem of mine. I was so just embittered by
of course,
the whole
man.
thing. I was like, I'm not gonna Zoom these
No,
dudes.
right,
Like,
dude.
it's so like to have you come here, shake
Yeah,
your hand,
absolutely.
and to like, it's like I felt that had been taken from me, like right when I started.
Certainly, man.
So,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
the interviews that I have had, totally loved them.
Great.
I need help, really.
Great.
It's
Yeah.
because I'm juggling a full-time job.
Mhm.
I work about 45 hours a week.
Yeah.
And with like, that takes up the majority of my
Sure.
bandwidth,
Yeah.
my
Oh
energy.
no, I absolutely understand.
And so
that.
when I come home, I don't want to like get on my computer and like grind and like, do work stuff, because
I
this
understand.
is like a part-time job.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you're watching and you want to help, so I have no
Give
money.
him some money.
No, I have no money to offer you. Truly, you would have to be, and it's a big ask.
Yeah.
It's a really, really big ask to be like, hey, do you want to join something that I don't know what I'm doing?
Right.
And I have no money to offer you.
There's always interns.
Yeah, I guess unpaid
Belmont's
internships.
Got tons of that shit,
Yeah,
man.
and our generation
Just
loves
gotta
unpaid.
dupe 'em, Yeah.
Yeah, our generation loves unpaid internships
Oh my
too.
god.
Man, it's bonkers. But that was.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
I'm glad I got that out there early, because
Sure.
it would be so cool if someone like
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
or
Get
someone
somebody
with any
involved.
kind of knowledge
Of course.
to
Yeah.
like edit, because I can't edit videos for shit. I can't. It's tough.
I
and
get it, man. The
and
whole
I'm-
like TikTok era is so frustrating to me. I think I was born about 30 years too early, or too late rather.
Yeah, and how old are you?
I'm 24.
25. I'm older than you.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck,
Okay.
dude. It's
Yeah.
it's a tricky time. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. I mean, we had finally just started. So we started really as a house show band in town, and we were doing that whole circuit, especially like in the Belmont scene, and we really wanted to bust out of that. And it looked like 2020 was gonna be our year, and we finally broke into the larger Nashville scene, and there was a ton of buzz, and we did a sold out show, and like we were like, oh shit, like we're gonna get ready to do this. And at the time, our whole structure was we'd go play shows to make money, to record a single, to put it out, to play more shows, to make a little more money, to go do that. And it was just it was a tough cycle, and we had finally like gotten all the pieces in play, and like it was gonna be go time, and then the pandemic hits, and it was weird. But honestly, for us, I mean, it didn't work out great, but it gave us time to actually focus on writing and kind of take a breath and sit back rather than this like constant grind cycle. And it really it helped us as songwriters, and especially with finding our sound. It was kind of huge getting those times, because we wrote one EP, and then in later 2020, early 2021, we wrote another, and we actually recorded that this January. It's going to start coming out over the summer. And now we've been writing a record for the last 4 months. And it's just been different since that. But hopefully we're kind of getting back and getting the buzz going.
Yeah,
again,
and it's a very common theme that I've seen with these up-and-coming artists is the first few years are just singles. And it's very just one and done, one and done, one and done.
Yeah. I mean, unless you've got somebody that you know that's running Ableton and you want to do it that way. But for young live bands, it's tough, because you want to get in a studio, you got to track it live, and then you have the assholes that want to track it to tape, which I'm one of. But it's just
like
fucking expensive, dude. Yeah, I mean, all my favorite records are on tape, and then I've got these buddies that have like $1 million record deals, and they're like, oh dude, like I just wish that like we were talking about a Radiohead record one night, and my one buddy was like, I just wish that I hope he doesn't hear this. He's like, I just wish that they would sit in a room and track it live to tape. And I'm like 90% positive that's what happened with that record.
Yeah.
But he was like, it's just better. And I was like, I fucking agree, man. But like, you know how expensive that is? I don't know. That's my tangent.
Yeah, and there's some purists out there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm for it. Hey,
yeah.
If that's the hill, die on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll join you. But
yeah. Well, let's kind of get into your earlier life, but before we do that, a word from our sponsor. I'm just kidding. I'm not sponsored.
Rogaine.
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp. Yeah.
So at the show, so I saw you at the Exit Inn. Some shows I get there early to try to network.
Of course.
I was hoping to run into you in person.
Oh.
But I think
I was hiding.
Yeah. Well, there was some interview photo shoot going on backstage that someone else had.
Yeah, we were doing something. I don't know if that came out, or I don't know. It was she was recording it, and I thought it was like a podcast style interview, and she's like, I can like cut any of this. Yeah. So we'd be talking, and they were like, cut that.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that to you. If there's anything that you say.
Oh no, dude.
You can just.
I mean, like I
do it
curse
all the
like
time.
a sailor, so as long as that's okay.
Yeah.
We're
but
good.
Yeah,
I won't sink my ship.
Yeah. I've had people say something, and then
like,
I can see the face. I'm like, it's okay. I can cut it out. Like, don't worry. So I'm sitting there. I'm talking to some people, and I see Val, who is your roommate.
Yes.
Come to find out, I had no idea that Val was your roommate. So I'm talking to him, and he introduces me to your dad.
Oh shit! Okay.
And he just introduces him as Papa Welsh. So
of course.
I don't know what your dad's name is.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Okay. and so I had a really cool conversation with him for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Wow, that's fun, man.
And I'm
impressed.
And I was like, oh man, what was I asking? I was asking him about Michigan.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Because you have a brother.
I've got a little
right?
brother up there. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a brother at Michigan. He's on the lacrosse team. I remember. Yes. And yeah, so we were talking kind of about that, and
Is that where you're from? Did you grow up in Michigan?
well, no, I'm from Illinois.
Okay.
My father and my mother are from Michigan.
Oh, cool.
And my
man.
dad graduated University of
Oh,
Michigan
nice,
in
nice.
the 80s.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so he's an engineer. They have one of the best
They
engineering
do,
programs
They
in the
certainly
country.
do.
So he's been a mechanical engineer
Very
for
cool.
all my life. So he got good job, moved to the Chicago area, got a job, and then that's where I was born
Nice.
in '95, and then moved here in 2013.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're currently residing in Alabama.
Nice. We're in Alabama.
They love it, Huntsville.
Okay, yeah, I know Huntsville.
Yeah, the Huntsville area.
Done a lot of shows in Alabama.
Yeah, but so tell me a little bit about Jeff and so what does he do?
Jeff is a he does a handful of things. He always was traveling a lot when I was a kid. Be gone for stretches of time, and he's he works for a company that handles stuff between insurance companies and contractors and like a whole thing. But yeah, he does a number of things. But so my folks are both from the greater Cleveland area. Actually from there. That is Cleveland.
This is
Holy
Cleveland,
shit.
yeah.
You know what, dude? I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
I sat down. I was like, oh, that's nice. He's got the Nashville skyline.
A lot of people think it's the Nashville
I
skyline.
I grew up like 5 minutes away from that, and I'm sitting there going, oh, like Nashville, nice.
You'd think, yeah. My Jamie's from Cleveland.
Oh no, shit. Do you know where?
Lakewood.
No fucking way. I'm from Lakewood.
Really?
Yeah, man. That's really cool.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking funny.
Yeah. So he's a
What?
Browns and a
absolutely.
Buckeyes fan.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, and actually
Buckeyes.
the Wi-Fi name
Really?
here is the Ohio State.
Oh.
And I'm a Michigan
yeah,
fan.
that's tough, man. I'd be
It's,
rebelling as well.
Yeah, but it's a nice place. I like it here, and
It is, dude. Well, this is I didn't realize when you said Brentwood, I wasn't putting it together that this is where you met. 'Cause I had tons of buddies used to live over. I mean, the Hardcastle guys, they all lived on, and then the Camino guys also lived on for a while, and then well, well, they don't live there anymore.
yeah.
So if you're looking for them, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not gonna tell you where they live now. But then another buddy of mine lives over here, Jason Bennett. He produced a handful of singles for us, and he's actually got a project called Baseball Game, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna hand him the crown, but definitely one of my favorite Nashville acts.
Nice.
Really cool stuff. But yeah, this is a great little spot.
Yeah. I've been liking it beats Antioch.
Most definitely.
I was near Antioch. and it was,
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so getting back to early life stuff.
Sorry, I spiral like a
don't worry about it. That's what this is all about. We're gonna be all over the place here. So you're from Lakewood, and that is kind of a better area than the rest of. Is that the nicer area of Cleveland?
I love Cleveland. So Lakewood is, so you've got downtown, and then you head this way. You head about 10 minutes west, and Lakewood is right there. And honestly, the whole it's not the yuppie part of Cleveland. The yuppie part is like, there's I'm gonna blank on the name, but like University Heights and Chagrin, and like the east side of Cleveland is where the hospital's at. So like all the good doctors that work at the Cleveland Clinic,
Okay.
all the cardiologists and stuff live over there, and that's like insane money.
Okay.
But the west side's a little more, especially where I live. It's kind of very. Honestly, I'd put it in the same category as like a Lockland Springs, like East Nashville kind of thing. It's a very blue collar, and here, like, those types of neighborhoods are definitely, I mean, they're way cool and like very art forward and more progressive. And Lakewood is that. But it's weird, man. When I was living there, it was way. So I grew up in just outside of Akron, Ohio. Okay. So it's like 40 minutes south of Cleveland, and excuse me a Sorry, I drank a lot of tequila last night. It's like 40 minutes south of Cleveland, and it was very much like suburbia. There wasn't a ton going on. And when I was 14, we moved to Lakewood, and so when we got to Lakewood, we were like, holy. Like, this is crazy. There's so many things to do. You can ride your bike places. Oh, my God. There's sidewalks. What the fuck?
Wow.
And so we were really excited about that. And, like, having left and come to a city where so much growth is happening and there's so many cool places. And I kind of was like, oh, man, like, Lakewood's all right. But, like, in the past 2 or 3 years, they've really, honestly, since the start of the pandemic, tons of growth's been coming in, and all these new restaurants and shops are opening up in like buildings that were vacant. And it's such a I love Cleveland because it's very much an old Midwestern city. So it's kind of almost got like some of the houses have like that old like English feel, like tons of brick houses. It looks like a shot of like in Manchester. It's really cool.
The gas stoves
and
the old heating systems.
Exactly. And the like brick fences and like that. But it's really great, and you're so close to the lake. And people always make fun of me here because I've got a bunch of friends from California and Florida that like actually live on the coast. Yeah. But I would always say, I mean, like my parents, they live real close to the coast, and they're like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, motherfucker, come stand on the beach and look out. You can't tell the difference. Yeah. It's like if I kidnapped you and left you on the beach in Cleveland, you wouldn't know the difference until you maybe smelled the water. That would do it. Yeah. But no, it was great. And so I grew up in Akron, moved to Cleveland because my parents went to school in Cleveland, and they'd been looking for an excuse to get back to the west side of Cleveland. And there was a Catholic boys' school that they wanted me to go to. And so, like, I got into the school, and they're like, all right, great, we're going to move to Cleveland now. I was like, wait, what the fuck? I was like, I didn't even know I wanted to go to this place, and now we're moving. But it worked out, and certainly gave me a chip on my shoulder. Yeah. So I did the whole like shirt and tie thing. It's like in high school I got really into I played football for a little bit, and then I blew out my shoulder. And so like when that happened, I'd always played music, and I'd been writing music since I was like 5 years old. But I never took it serious. Well, I mean, I took it as serious as I did when I was having fun. But it wasn't like, this is my life, this is what I'm going to do. And something around like 16, I think that like a lot of people I talk to, that seems to be kind of the age where you're like I'm a musician, this is who I am, I'm going to die on this hill, I'm going to be poor. And like it for me, that revolution happened, and it was really cool because I mean, like every other 16-year-old kid, like you don't know who you are, you feel outside of things. And so when I was in that spot, I really was listening to, I don't know how I got into it, but it was a ton of punk rock music and a ton of grunge music. And I kind of like, I was newly moved to the area. I was having a hard time at school, like wasn't making a lot of friends and stuff. And so like every good rock star does at 16. And I was like, I met these group of kids, and I would go like drink above their garage with them, and like we'd hide from their parents. And I was like, oh, this is very like punk rock. I was like, I'm a punk now. Yeah. And so I dove headfirst into that whole attitude. And what I found was that like there's a lot of stuff behind that music where it's more so, to me at least, it feels like the music made me feel like you're no longer just you on the outside. You're part of us, and we kind of all stand together on the outside. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's definitely something that I've tried more and more to put into, well, I mean, that's kind of been the ethos of Feathers music. Yeah. But anyways, back to high school. So I had my whole, like, I might as well have had off written on my forehead. I would wear, like, my grandpa's old army jacket and shit, and, like, I had to wear khakis, a shirt, and tie every day to school, but I would like punk it up as much as I could, so I looked absurd. And I remember I was at a graduation party. This is the part we might have to cut. And rolling now.
Yes. So you don't really like come from big money. You were kind of like upper middle class.
Very
middle
very
class?
Blue collar.
Okay.
Very very blue collar.
And what does mom do?
Mom is badass. She was a mom for a little while, and then she started working for this nonprofit doing pediatric cancer research.
Okay.
And she ran that for a very, very long time and would essentially raise money for research. It's awesome. And now she's working on a couple different things. My parents are they're getting to that age. They're almost, they're gonna shoot me if I say almost 60, but they're both 57, and now they've got my little brother up in Michigan, and he's playing, and then the games are all over the place. So they're kind of just hanging out and traveling and going to lacrosse games, and then if there's a show near them, they come to the show, and it's just they're cruising. They're having a good
Nice.
time.
And so they're still in.
Yeah, they're up in. They're
Ohio.
still in Lakewood. Yeah.
Okay.
I try and tell them. I drop hints every time when I'm
Yeah.
home. Like I was home last weekend, and we went up to Ann Arbor and saw one of Jackie's games, and it snowed Monday,
Yeah.
and I was like, guys, come on, like it's like the end of April now.
Yeah. No.
It's snowing.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
what
in
the fuck?
Canada.
There
You're
are
in
better
Canada.
spots.
Yeah.
There are better spots to stop. I'm like, come on down. And like, even I love Nashville, and Nashville will probably be my home for forever. I might go do stints other places, but that takes a little.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's warm enough.
Yeah.
In high school, you'd shower before school, and then I'd get there, my hair would be all wet, and I had long hair, and it would freeze.
Froze.
It would freeze,
Yeah.
dude. And then it would like thaw out in the first class. Then it was an open campus, so you'd have to walk outside to get to the next class, and it would freeze again. And like this would like from 7 a.m. until like 2 in the afternoon, to where like the sun was like cool. It was just constant freezing and
Back and forth.
thawing. Dude, I heard a story once of like this girl that went to one of the high schools by mine. She had like swim practice in the morning, and like was just having a bad day, and like went to like flick her hair, and it was frozen, and she just popped off her ponytail.
Oh
Like, just
no. Like an icicle.
Like, holy shit, man! Could you imagine?
Oh no.
I think that would be like, I would need to end it
couldn't
all or move somewhere.
Never have even thought that
Yeah.
that would be a possibility.
Insane.
Dude.
Insane.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. It's way too cold. I love Cleveland.
Yeah.
That always will have a place in my heart, but you'll
Yeah.
only see me July and August.
Yeah. Who's the cook of the family?
None of us. We ate terrible food
Who
all
cooked?
the time. I mean, my dad knows how to grill things. I'm okay on the grill. I've gotten better at cooking things. I have like 3 staple meals that I rotate. Like I eat a ton of salmon. I eat this like
Yes.
couscous and veggie thing,
Okay.
and then once a week I'll eat red meat, because like I stopped doing it completely for a while
Okay.
and was really like pescatarian. And then I love steak and I love burgers, and I had a burger and it like me up so
Oh
bad.
yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now it's like getting a vaccine. I eat like a steak once a week just to kind of keep it up.
Keep the poison in your system.
Yeah, exactly. keep myself poisoned. But no,
Wow.
growing up, no, nobody cooked.
Okay.
I mean, they cooked. It just wasn't good.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
My dad's very artistic, and my mom likes to think she is. She's amazing in so many ways. But
Not in the food department.
no, she's a very healthy person. I mean, like, she's 57 and shredded. Like, she's got
Good
made
for
now.
her.
She's insane. But growing up, like, my friends would always give me shit because they'd come over and they'd be like, "Hey, dude, can I like get an Oreo?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And I'd go into the pantry and pull out these like Whole Foods like leaf cookies.
Yes,
and,
yes, yes.
And they're like, "Dude, what the f
Yeah,
is this
we
cardboard
hate coming
box?
to your house,
Like,
bro."
fuck this, dude. Let's go to my house."
Yes.
But all the other meals would reflect, and like my
Just
mom,
a piece of bark.
oh my God, bless her heart, she would always just say, she would like start eating what she had made for us. She'd be like, "Oh my God, this is so good," and we're all like, and she's like, "Well, I think it's just, what, I know why you guys don't like it. It's not that it's not good. It's just as you get older, you lose some of your taste buds. And so you guys are younger and you still have all those taste buds. That's why this tastes so good to me." And I'd be like,
It's like,
"Mm,
okay.
I don't know." "Yeah, Mom, sure."
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
Pets.
Oh, Dewey. Dewey's the best dog
Dewey.
ever. We got him right after we moved to Cleveland, and he is now almost 8. So he's getting older.
Still kicking.
He's a big guy. He's like got Mastiff and Boxer and Great Dane and like all this. Like he looks like Scooby Doo.
Okay.
It's wonderful. He hates the mailman with a passion, like every good city dog.
Right.
He doesn't go on walks. He doesn't run. He just sits there. He's impressively fit for his daily routine. He every day at 11 o'clock, you got to put him in his room or else he'll freak out because the mailman comes and he'll pace across the front of the house waiting for him.
Yeah.
And then all the hair on the back of his neck stands up. And, dude, I remember it was my first year here, and I get a phone call, and they're like, you will not believe what Dewey did today. And so my parents' front door, they've got, like, those little glass windows on the sides of it, I guess on either side of the door. And Dewey was, like, it's like my house is, like, in Cleveland, it's, like, 100 years old.
Yeah.
And it's got, like, one of those mail slots. There's no, like, mailbox. And so the mailman has to, like, get up close to the front door, and Dewey's in there freaking the out. And he, like, slides the mail through, and Dewey was on his hind legs and punched through one of the windows trying to get the mailman, like a fucking person. like you know that, like, scene in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie where he's, like, shadow boxing and, like, doing the Mike Tyson thing? That swear to God, Dewey's, like, sitting there like, come on, motherfucker. Like, I'm going to get you today. It's like, mailman, you die today. But yeah, he's the best dog. Such a sweet, dumb animal. He's wonderful.
Aggressive.
Yeah, he's the best.
So you said that you played some sports. You blew out your shoulder playing football. I also saw on Instagram a little bit ago you're on a baseball team. Do you play, or was that like an intramural?
No. So I just have a big mouth, is what it is, and so. Last spring, about a year ago, some friends of mine had been playing in like this sandlot baseball league, and it was like a bunch of like older people. God, I'm not an ageist, but like guys in their 30s and stuff like that had jobs and kids, and like we're just doing this as like a fun community thing. And then a bunch of like jackasses my age got together with some of them, and they made a team called the Ball Hogs, and it became like this whole spectacle. Like they made an Instagram account, and like everybody would go to the games, and it was like really, it was one of the first times that I was around a bunch of people again. Probably last May, June. Anyways, so they started having these baseball games, and like it was before everybody was like really going to bars and stuff again, and so everybody would go to these games and go drink and hang out, and it became this huge social event. And so like everybody saw them with their team, and I went to one game, and I must have told the wrong person, hey, this would be really fun, like we should start a team. And they took like, we should start a team as Dave's going to make a team. And so the next fucking day, I don't know how this person got my number. They're like, hey, dude, just letting you know, I heard you're going to start a team. Here's the link where you buy the jerseys. And I also, so-and-so gave me your number, and I gave it to everybody that wants to play. And so, like, my phone's ringing off the hook all fucking day. And I'm like, dude, what? I was like, I got to change my phone number now. What the hell's going on? And so, so we I thought it would be hysterical to, like, because, like, the Ball Hogs were, like, kind of this young, rowdy team. And so I was like, let's be, like, the villains and, like, be, like, the East Nash villains and, like, be the bad boys of the league and, like, just show up with a case of beer every game and, like, really do it up and, like, play the whole, like, Dennis Rodman role. And so, you know, I was like, I'm a pretty eclectic gentleman. Like, let's be the flamboyant bad guys. Let's do it.
Let's pierce our noses. And
yeah, exactly. Let's get the fuck out there and play some sports. And so it actually, dude, it's hysterical. So we like had one scrimmage, and like all these guys show up, and it was a blast. Like it was like last June. And oh my God, I'm just laughing about that day. But it was really fun, and we're like, all right, let's do it. So we got jerseys, and then we ended up actually like we got f***ing smoked the first like I don't think we won a game all season, but everybody got into the playoffs, and then by the time we got to the playoffs, I found some guys that could actually play baseball, and so then we beat f***ing everyone, and we won the whole thing. It was so funny. Yeah. Oh my
Wow,
god. It
that
was
turned into
ridiculous.
quite a good
Yeah,
experience.
It was. By the end of it, I wasn't playing much. I was just kind of drinking and hanging out.
Sitting
but
in left field, just
yeah,
sticking
yeah.
around.
I was taking it real easy.
Picking the grass.
But yeah, it was real fun. Actually, one of my buddies. So there's a handful of bands on the team, and so like there's a band called Parrotfish. And they've got some guys on the team. Feathers. Chris and I both play. And then my buddies Danny and Sam from Greta Van Fleet are on the team.
What?
And Sam is
Wait,
a wonderful human.
Is this isn't the guitarist, is it?
Sam plays bass and Danny plays drums.
Okay.
So Sam is like me. Him and I get along and on like the like we're just gonna be goofy and like off and like not take this seriously at all kind of wave. And so Sam is not an athletic guy. I like at least I had like the background to throw things together, so like I can fake it, but
Yeah.
I'm not either. Like my dad and brother would hear this and be like, "You're not athletic." But so Sam was like, "Hell yeah, I want to play baseball." Like, yeah. And so he calls Danny that morning and he's like, "Hey man, like I'm going to go play baseball today with Dave. Like, do you want to come?" And Danny's like, "Wait, you're going to play baseball? Like, I can't miss this for the fucking world." So they go get gloves and they showed up to that first game, and Sam had on this, oh my god, it was so funny. He had like booty shorts on and a tank top, and then he had these like huge Elton John sunglasses and this like big yellow visor that said vote for Bernie on it. It was so perfect. And there's like there's like us and like all the musicians on the team, and then there's like all these jocks that like got my phone number when we were gonna start the team, and so these guys are all like, "Who the fuck are these dudes?" It's like the only way I can explain like Sam playing baseball. It's like a happy T-Rex playing baseball. Like if you could picture that, it was so funny, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up making a team, and then we turned it into the spectacle, and then everybody's coming to our games and partying, and it was fun. I gotta play some this summer. We had one already, but I mean, looking at the calendar, I'm gonna be gone all the time.
Yeah.
And then it's like when I'm here, I'm so busy, and it's just,
Yeah.
you know, it's tough. But
Yeah.
I gotta make some time to get out there and mix it up.
Yeah. I recently signed up for a flag football.
Oh, dude, I got tricked
thing.
into that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not co-ed.
It's intense, yeah.
It was way more intense
Wait,
than
was this
I
the one-
anticipated. It was like NFL Street Volume 2, dude. It was it was
Was this how long ago was this?
So my first game was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Is this the outdoor league? Like the YMCA kind of thing?
Well, it's called like mid-state mid-state sports or something like that.
I got tricked into their winter league.
Ugh.
I was trying to impress this girl, and her friends did not like me. I don't know why. I'm pretty nice. Her friends weren't nice, is what I've learned. If Val says you're not nice, you're not a nice person.
That's wow.
It takes a lot.
That takes a lot.
Uh-huh.
It's like my mom doesn't like
Right.
you, and that's saying something.
Right, dude, exactly. If Val doesn't like you, you're a f***ing asshole. But so, anyways, I was trying to impress this girl, and I used to be good at football, and her friends didn't like me, and one of the guys was, him and his brothers were like starting this flag football team, or they had played last year, and they had apparently gotten smoked, and I was like, well, you know, I mean, like, I used to play, I could help out, and so I got duped into it, and I like bruised my ribs, dude. Like I'm so injury prone. It was bad.
You're kind of a big dude. You're taller than me. You weigh more than me. Clearly, like
it hurt, man. It was
it's intense.
Well, you know what pissed me off is this is when I stopped going. it was when I bruised my ribs. But like it was the most athletic thing I'd ever done in my entire life. Like I broke loose, I was scrambling, I felt like Cam Newton. I ran all the way down the sidelines, and like one guy was like kind of catching up to me. He was pretty quick, and I'm like at the goal line, and so I just dove, and I hit the pylon, and like of course I'm a jackass. I put it out and like hit my ribs.
Yeah.
But they threw a penalty flag, and they took the touchdown back, and they're like, "There's no diving in the league." I was like, "All right, I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore."
What do you mean no diving?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a penalty to dive.
What is this, like a 3-foot pool?
Yeah, dude, it was fucking ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
No
I took my
diving.
participation trophy and got the fuck out of there. I was done. I was pissed.
Jeez.
They took it off the board. I was like, "This is the girl who was reffing the game." I was like, "You don't understand. This is the single-handed most athletic thing I've done in my entire life. You can't take this away from me." And she was like,
"Bro, like that." Yeah, I played one game. I'm not like I played a lot of sports growing up. I pretty regularly go to the gym. But man, yeah. I was not ready for that.
Yeah,
I was not ready for that at all. A lot of fun, but I was not ready for that.
No, it's an intense thing.
So keeping on the sports thing, I guess I'll have to switch up the order
Okay.
here. Stalking through the people that you follow, or like on Instagram and
Sure,
stuff. I saw
sure,
that.
sure,
I
sure.
saw that you follow Dave Portnoy.
Oh God.
Are you a Barstool Sports fan?
No. Well, I don't necessarily support Mr. Portnoy. He makes me giggle.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he.
What about him? Do you know?
Well, actually, I was a huge fan for a while. I mean, I wasn't like buying the merch, but
Yeah.
I was like, you know how you can follow, well, with social media, you can follow people, and like I'm super guilty of this. I kind of download the way I think and my ideologies onto these people, and so like with Portnoy, I was following him, and like he said like one or two things where I was like, oh, like this is a really good guy, like he really cares about his people, he gets a bad rap, and like
2 tweets later.
Yeah, 2 tweets later, boy was I wrong. And I like reposted something of his when I was thinking that way, and Alex, our guitar player, was like, hey dude, you should take that down. Like people, it's not a good look. Like we're in a band, we gotta be, you're in a band, you gotta have the one opinion or else you're fucked. And I do have that opinion, but and Portnoy doesn't necessarily align with that opinion, which is I don't think that's necessarily the best way I think people should think for themselves. But I do think with the herd, don't get me wrong. But anyways, yeah, Portnoy, I love the pizza shit. Like that was fucking
cool.
cracking me up.
Yeah.
He did some spots, and actually that was like the final nail in the coffin, is he went to this place, El Rion in Cleveland, which is amazing. It's run by a bunch of guys that went to my high school, and like, dude, the pizza is like 5 points on steroids. It's insane. I love 5 points too. So like sponsor me, send me some pizzas.
Yeah.
But El Rion was awesome. Just like great pizza. They do like this white clam pizza. It's insane. I didn't even know that was something I wanted, and it was great. And so he gets there, and like what's fucking hysterical is like this little head was working the deliveries that day, and this was during the pandemic, and he went to high school with my brother, and this kid's high as balls. So like he's working, and the Portnoy pizza's like set aside, right? Because they knew he's coming. They like got a little lead time, and the kid like reads the ticket, and he's like, "Who the fuck is this like Portnoy guy?" And like just like puts it aside because it's a busy place, like a bunch of people, and they got a system, and Portnoy didn't know the system, so he's out there bitching about it, and it took like 50 minutes for he was like waiting outside this place for like an hour for the pizza. It is because this one kid was high and didn't know what was going on.
Oh no.
And so like Portnoy ended up trashing it and calling it like El Rione and stuff like that, and I was just like, all right, dude, like you're a dick, you're dead to me.
Oh man. That's bad.
I also I talk a lot of but I have no hard opinions on anything. I'm very nice about.
Yeah,
usually.
yeah.
If I would, yeah.
So have you seen Sunday Conversations with Caleb Presley? Do you know
Is
what
that
that
the
is?
guy? Is that the guy that just did the?
Hezbollah.
Yes, yeah, dude, that was fucking hysterical. I watched a little bit of it, but honestly, out of the stuff I watched, my favorite part was the trailer where Hezbollah, they're setting down that giant like bowl of ice cream for him, and he's just like. I was like, holy shit. This kid's like 18 and he's got like stones like that. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah. He's
So
got
funny.
confidence.
Yeah, man.
But,
it's wild.
So
I do like what's the guy? The Minuteman, KFC.
Yes.
I follow him on
KFC.
Instagram. I think we think the same way. He's got a good perspective, I think.
Yeah.
A little more laid
and that's
back.
kind of the cool thing with Barstool is like you kind of have your options.
Well, right.
There's such a because it's no longer just sports.
No, it's such a multifaceted company, and it's
huge,
really
huge.
interesting.
So
I love the blue collar attitude of it. Like I love the like this. There's no lane for this. We're gonna make the lane.
Yeah, and I like Portnoy because he's anti-PC. He's anti-woke.
Sure.
I'm a pretty conservative guy.
Sure.
I share a lot of the same opinions with
course.
Portnoy. But yeah, I was just have you ever heard of Kenny Makes Beats on YouTube? This is way out in left field. Yeah.
Is that Kenny Beats? Like the same same thing? I've heard that.
So he has a show on YouTube.
Is the guy with the long hair and the mustache?
He's short hair, blonde dude. Usually has a hat on, and he has a studio. He has these these rappers come by.
Yeah.
He makes a beat for them, and then they record over it, just like a session, you know.
I saw one with who's the guy that shot like Megan Thee Stallion or something like that?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
Tory
about?
Lanez.
Tory Lanez. Yeah, Tory
Tory
Lanez was
Lanez.
doing a freestyle on. I think that Val showed it to me, and it was insane. Like it was. He said, "There's a line." He's like, "I don't give a about your hoes, your manicured, pedicured toes." I was like, "Damn." Okay, because like when it comes to writing, like. I get frustrated sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I'm just saying the same things. I'm saying like the same perspectives.
Yeah.
Using the same like, when I say perspectives, that's the wrong word, but like talking in first person, like that type of stuff. And for somebody to be like, I don't give a about your hose, I don't give a about your manicured, pedicured toes.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does your brain get there, dude? Like I'm so impressed and in awe. Of that. But back to Kenny Beat.
I would like to do a podcast that is in a dream world.
Sure.
Multicam, doing something along the lines of Kenny Makes Beats, where I have a musician come over and we do like a session on camera and like make a song.
Okay, cool.
Like in the moment right there. So that's kind of
you'd get some cheesy shit out of me.
And that's kind of it is what it is.
Right, that'd be fun.
It is what it is.
That'd
but
be fun, man.
Yeah, I think I just love the reason I brought up those guys is just because I just love their interviewing style and they're so funny.
Yeah, I mean the long form interview is just great.
Yeah.
It just gives you a little more time to actually show your personality rather than like, hey, I'm plugging this, and this, and here's one joke. See ya.
Yeah, and I don't like the magazine interview style. Yeah. Where it's like 6 questions and we're running out of time here and I have
I'm sorry, dude.
I had way more to talk about.
I just
Hey man, we're having a good time. Yeah. So my girlfriend actually has some questions for you.
Okay.
Cuz she went to the show with me. And, 2 questions.
Nice.
The name of the band.
Okay.
Is that named after the Emily Dickinson poem?
It is. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Hope is
the
thing
hope
with
is the
feathers.
thing with feathers. It goes back to the whole
wow.
like us. You're not one of you by yourself. You're a part of us. That music kind of gave me a whole purpose, and so like with me, the biggest thing is it's the most fun that I have in life is playing music. I mean, hands down, it's the best thing ever.
Right.
And it's a highway robbery that I get to do it for a job. But the most important thing was the way that music and the people that I was into made me feel, and the community that it brought me, and the purpose that it gave my life. And so the whole thing for me is like I really want to share that and share that joy, and like music's a spiritual thing, like it is a thing that's as old as time, and it people need to get together in person and sing songs. And it's a ritual, you know, like it is an important human thing.
Yeah.
And so for me, it is such an honor to get to bring people together and inspire hope and inspire love and all these different things that you can do with music. I think that's just the coolest thing. And so, yeah, when I read that verse from the poem, I was like, oh shit, you know. And I was like, if you can fucking call a band Cage the Elephant, like I'm gonna call mine Thing with Feathers.
Cool.
And so that's how that stuck.
Wow.
And then people think I'm way smarter than I actually am, because way more smart than I actually am. I'm not gonna drink. I'm way smarter. But I had some cousins at Notre Dame, and I was up there for a football game, like tailgating and drinking, and they were like, oh my God, like, we love your band. I had no idea you were such an Emily Dickinson fan. I was like, wait, what? Oh, fuck yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, yes. They're like, have you read any other books? I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, which ones? I'm like, the blue one. You know?
One with the blue cover. And she also wanted to know about everyone's like long, flowing, curly hair. Was that planned, or is that just
No, dude. We actually
because when we were watching you, there's so much just hair on stage, just flowing around. It's
rock and roll, man.
It's glorious, man. It's voluptuous.
No, that's so funny. Well, we actually, I mean, Chris is the only one who's got short hair.
Yeah.
He used to have long hair. His girlfriend made him cut it. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Alex and I love the long hair. We'll always have it. But ironically, the two guys that were up there playing with us that night, near Horowitz, who was playing bass, and then my buddy Quinn Reedy, who was doing background vocals and just filling in some aux stuff. We it worked out that those were going to be the guys that did the show with us, and love them. And we've been working on finding a new bass player, and we've got one guy that we really like, and he'll see this and be happy about that. But we when it was all done and we got it all worked out with management that those were going to be the guys that did it, we're like, wait a second, this is like fucking Dr. Evil and Mini-Me with their hair. They've got the exact same hair. And it was really fun. Really, really fun that it all worked out like it did.
How often are you shampooing?
Never.
Yeah.
I've got it in my shower, and every once in a while I need to do it because I put beard oil and pomade in it every once in a while. But I really just rinse the out of it and condition.
Okay.
But the shampoo's
you don't want to strip all the oils out.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of shampoo.
Yeah.
I have nightmares about it.
Right.
Yeah. Frizzy hairs.
Okay. So I just had to ask about that, if that was intentional or not.
Of course.
Well, okay, let's talk about South by Southwest. You were just there.
Yes.
Right. And you also just released an EP recently, Sundays in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So
thank you.
For those of the people that don't know, what is South by Southwest, and how was your experience there?
So South by Southwest is a goddamn party. But basically the whole music industry, the whole film industry, and a bunch of tech and art and stuff. It's this huge convention that they have in Austin, Texas, and it runs about 2 weeks, but the main week is the music week. And so Sunday to Sunday, everybody and their mother drives down to Austin or flies down to Austin, and there's just so many shows. And I'd never been to Austin, Texas. I'd never been to Texas. And it was an eye-opening experience. But it was wonderful. We were staying right at the bottom of this street, South Congress, which is kind of like 12 South on steroids. And it's right by that bridge that all the bats fly out. And there's a lake there, and there's a trail to run, and then there was a spring you could go swimming in. And so basically I'd wake up every morning, and I'd be super hungover because we were out till 3 a.m, and I would feel like hell for 10 minutes, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go. And I'd go for a jog, hop in the spring, and then I'd be back. We go get some tacos, a bunch of coffee, and then you start drinking again. And it was it was wonderful. But it's such a cool thing. So many bands, so many friends were there, friends from all different cities. And basically like I mean like I love making friends. That's one of my favorite things. And so I would just go hang out at the artist village and just go bullshit with a bunch of people, and then you meet people and go to their shows, and then everybody like every night there'd be like one or two shows that like everybody was going to go to, so those were kind of the ones you had to go to. But it was great. Like there was all these like after parties and things, and Satisfactory, Phoebe Bridgers' label, put on a whole showcase, and we went to that, and we're hanging out with all those people, and it was really cool. And then I got to see some buddies in a band that are from LA that I hadn't seen in forever. Beauty School Dropout, they're great. Annie DeRusso is there, she's amazing. Just so many talented friends. Bree Kennedy, Sunroom, all these awesome people. And then we like had a whole bunch of our friends just came down to hang out because they're like, we're gonna go to the Feather Show, and it ended up working out great. We only did the one show, which was kind of unfortunate, but it was because the way our agent explained it was we were like on a big growth uptick at the time when they were deciding the lineups for the festival.
Clicks.
Yeah, we were getting all the clicks, and so it was the type of thing where it was like, do we have these guys play like Wednesday at noon, or do we want to like let them play Saturday night? And we ended up getting a really great slot at like a really happening bar, and there was like probably 300 people there, and we just burned it down. It was really fucking fun. It was one of those shows that like it is a huge reminder like why you do it. It was just easy and fun, and we were just so relaxed. And after spending all that time together, you know, everything gets real greasy, and like the parts are just tight, and you're just playing. It's easy, and having so many people from here be down there as well was so much fun.
Cool.
But it was a great experience. And then what was the other part of the question? I'm sorry, I got stuck on South by Southwest.
It was just how was it? What was your
It was
experience
wonderful.
in
Yeah.
Sundays in the South?
Oh yeah, Sundays in the South. So Sundays, this was the record that we wrote.
You just basically put a bunch of your it's a 5-song EP,
Mm-hmm.
and 4 of those you released as just singles, right?
Yeah. So when we started writing that, we had all been separated from the pandemic. I mean, Chris and I were still living together, but Alex and our bass player at the time, Sean, had been out of town, and we got back together like I think late May of 2020. We were like, okay, we can like all rehearse. And so we weren't doing anything, so we would just go lock ourselves up in the studio we had at my house, and we would just write all day. And I had a few ideas going into it. Alex had a few ideas, and then Sean had a couple ideas, and we kind of just worked it all out. But the song that I had finished before we started writing, the rest of them was Sundays in the South. And I was like, this is the song, this is what I want to call it. And we're like, okay, there's the EP title. Like, yeah, we're good to go. And so the song Sundays was real like reminiscent about my time living pre-pandemic in Nashville, in that place we were living. And we would all just kind of like every Sunday we're a bunch of like punk rock kids living in like this really uppity Christian neighborhood. So like it was a weird thing.
Yeah.
And then we were goddamn degenerates. And like every Sunday we'd just be sitting on my back porch like bullshitting and talking shit about the weekend and kind of reminiscing. And so we got the idea from that to to write a concept record around it about going out in your early 20s and like looking for something more. And exactly. Everyone.
In their early 20s.
And so the one character is constant throughout the whole thing, but then the other one, like, he interacts with 3 different people. Like the first song, Saturday Night's just establishing that you want something more, and it actually is almost a reprise of Sundays in the South. It's more upbeat, but we cut it to sound like a garage band at like a house show, plugging in and like getting going and screaming and shit.
Yeah.
But then it's about characters that there's this one guy, he's kind of on an odyssey, and he's interacting with these people over a weekend, and it's like 3 different dynamics, and I won't go too much more into it because I want people to make the songs their own. But it all ends back at Sundays, and you're kind of just
Yeah.
gonna
That's
start
full
all over.
circle.
Yeah, exactly.
So it kind of comes full
Mhm.
circle. I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like that.
man.
Well, you got a lot of cool friends. It
I
seems
got a lot,
like.
a lot of buddies. Yeah.
I'm jealous. So like, what do you do? You know, you said that you just found a bass player that you like. So like,
Mhm.
what do you do if you try to break? Like, if you're trying to break into the music industry in this city, what do you have to do? How do you?
My advice will
just-
be bad for your liver and bad for your bank account. But
Oh well, I haven't been drinking for months now.
Really?
I'm
Good for
I'm
you.
off the sauce.
good for you, man. I'm gonna
Well-
stop one of these days eventually. As an older man.
I mean, I just ruined it for myself way
Really?
too early.
Yeah,
I'm an alcoholic.
I get that. Well, yeah.
I'm an alcoholic, so I just decided to step in front of it
Good for you.
early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm coming up on 30 and I can't be drinking that much.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I wasn't like killing bottles. Like
Yeah.
it was just a ton of beer,
Yeah.
and it was enough.
It's
To ru-
affecting.
It was definitely enough to ruin my life.
Sure.
Now I'm with like an addiction specialist,
Oh,
and
amazing, man.
she's wonderful. Yeah, it's so nice
Good
to.
for you.
Do you go to therapy at all?
I do. Yeah, I've
And
got.
I asked you a question, then just like went totally off track. But
Sure, no.
therapy and then music.
Yeah. Therapy's great. I actually, I have like a 1-2 punch. I've got a therapist who is also a vocal coach. So it's like this whole vocal psychology thing. And
That's
it
a
was
really qualified individual.
wonderful. She is amazing, Maruha. She's the best. But I had never done it, and always kind of thought I needed it. And like, boy, did I need it.
You didn't
And
realize until you do it.
yeah, it's just it. The way I always describe it is like, up here I've felt the same way since I was like 15. Like the
Mm.
way the lens that I look at the world through has been the same. Like my understanding of self has been the same. But as I've gotten older, what I've realized is that I just get better and better and better at processing, and like you experience things, and so the next time around you're a little bit better at it. And what therapy's done for me is just made my ability to process things that are happening in life so much better, and it makes it so much easier to understand things, especially in a town like Nashville where it's very competitive and there's a bunch of egos flying around, and mine's one of the biggest, and it's like a whole thing.
Really?
It's not really.
You don't seem like
no,
that.
no, I'm very friendly. I think, but it just really gives you the tools to live a happier, healthy life. And it's not like it wasn't like I was in this place of despair, which is like always the stigma with therapy, is like, oh my god, like this guy's fucked up, he needs to go talk to somebody. It's no, like everybody should go do it. It's wonderful. It just makes life better.
Yeah.
And then the vocal coaching is also insane.
Okay. And before we get to music, the one thing I want to say about that is, you know, especially as young guys living in the world that we're living in today, I think that it has stunted our emotional maturity a lot. So, and women are definitely, more cerebral, more in touch with their emotions earlier in life. And so when you're like the way that me and my therapist talk about it is, or my therapist and I talk about it, is that like I have the emotional maturity of like an 18-year-old, and like emotional identification and stuff like that is just something that has just been such a challenge for me.
Well, right.
And like sitting in the feeling and processing the feeling and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's huge, man. I mean, and it's such a, you're absolutely right, because just like the way our society is as young guys, like I mean, obviously, like our society is broken in so many ways, and it is geared towards men, and it's totally wrong. However, I will say that in terms of like actually being good at life and processing things and being good at life, but living a happy, healthy
living
life.
your best life.
Yeah, no, seriously. I
Yeah.
mean, like, one of the hardest people to be is a boy from age 14 to 18. Like, that is such a brutal time, because you're going through all these changes and you don't know what's going on, and
You know nothing.
you know nothing. You don't know your hand from your ass, man. And like, you just get thrown into all these really emotional situations, and the society goes, hey, no, you're a man, tough it up, like stiffen your lip, let's go. And so many people like me, I was just like, push it down, push it down. And that like is total bullshit. And like it takes somebody walking you through it and showing you the tools and helping you process the emotions, and it's just better. It's just better, and that is definitely something that is super important. Like I think guys really need to break the stigma of what it means to be a guy and decide that for themselves. I think people in general, I mean, that's been like one of my favorite things with our culture, especially like in terms of the LGBTQ movement and all this stuff that's going on, is people are taking a step back from the way that we're told to be people and deciding how they want to be people. And I think that is so amazing. And I really think that like young straight men need to hop on that wave and really take the time to figure out who they are and how they want to live. And it just works wonders. You know, it's an amazing thing. I'm really for it.
And like when you talk to people our age, like they're aware, you know, of the things that need to change. It just takes so much time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
It's tough to get in there because you're absolutely right.
Generations have to go through, and I mean, like Tennessee is still run by like 4 elderly, like senior citizens.
Right.
And
It's insane.
That's why, you know, things kind of are the way, like some of the laws. But I mean, these dudes are like, come on.
Well, there's, I mean, like politics are politics, but like there's just like regardless of whether the guy's wearing a red tie or a blue tie, there's just human nature.
Yeah, they're
and
both
like,
awful.
It's
like we're in a bad situation
human
now, but if you
gets
like, if you think that, oh, like it's a bad situation now, so the Republicans will do better, it's like no, they're not going to do any better of a job than
it's a bunch of
right now.
silly jobs, but people need to be people and treat other people like people. And I mean, that's
the corruption is insane.
The corruption's insane. Our housing is so
there's
up.
There's a thumb on the scale.
Women's rights. It's just horrible.
The rich get rich and the poor stay poor.
Right. We really.
That's how it's set up.
We need people to be human beings and look out for other human beings, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's the way it works.
Yeah, and late stage capitalism has just focused so much attention on addicting the younger generation to that whatever it may be. So like our dopamine button is getting hit all the time.
Absolutely.
And we have these very primal, you know, like reptilian brain, like reward center and all this kind of stuff, and they are just hacking our reward center in our brain
absolutely.
And that's, I think, why. I mean, if you've made it this far in the video, we're an hour in, like, there's no way that you would have had the attention span to make it to the, you know.
I mean, I think I'm funny, but if you made it this far.
If you've made it to the end, that's actually insanely impressive. And that's why, you know, breaking it up into clips and stuff, but that's just the world that we live in.
Yeah. No,
anyway,
you got to manage your dopamine. I'm really big on that. I was one of the, I'm always hills and valleys, life's hills and valleys.
Yes.
But I was in a deep valley, and I was following this neuropsychologist. Is that a word? I think that's what he is.
Yeah.
He's some doctor at Stanford, but his whole thing was managing your dopamine levels, because like with playing shows, you get these insane highs, like huge rushes of dopamine. And what happens is when I'm an idiot, so don't take this seriously. But what happens, from my understanding, is when you get those huge peaks in dopamine in today's society, with phones and with all the essentially compound releases of dopamine on a daily basis, your dopamine floor is really high. Like where you're normally coasting dopamine level is way high compared to what the actual floor is. And so when you get those crazy peaks, your brain drops all the way down to the floor afterwards. And so what essentially this guy's theory was that you manage your intake of dopamine. So like I go for runs, right? And I used to go for runs and listen to music, but this is just an example. He basically said that you get dopamine from running and you get dopamine from music. So putting those together, that raises the floor. And so now I just go for a run, because it essentially lowers my floor down. So my baseline dopamine level, where I'm content and happy, I try and keep it as low as possible so I don't need the dopamine, you know what I mean? Because, like, when you go out and do those shows and get that huge peak, if I fall, which you fall, after the fall, if your floor is lower, it's way easier to get back to than if your coasting level of dopamine is way up here, because that's when I would get really depressed. And so now there's, I mean, tons of shit, dude. Like, I literally went like, holy shit, I've got to separate all these things in my life now. And it's been huge. I mean, it does a lot for my mental health. It's great.
Yeah. The way it was explained to me, I kind of see it like, you kind of see you kind of see it like a graph, you know, like going across time. I see it like a teeter-totter.
Yeah.
Because the way it was explained to me is your brain is trying to achieve homeostasis, which is just balance.
Right.
Like, you know, but, you know, that teeter-totter gets weighed down too much, and it's going to try to go back to normal. So that's just kind of how I think about it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, how do you get invited to these parties that y'all go to? How do you get in the if I'm an average guitar player, which I am, and it seems like college plays a huge role in this, and this is where I think a lot of people make their friend groups and kind of,
you know, I definitely, I had a few good friends that, like the Hardcastle guys off the boat, they were just really supportive, and through them we would like get in touch with like mixing engineers and producers and stuff like that. And then honestly, man, we made Sundays, and we got put in touch with these two producers. I don't remember how. I think they had done a song that we liked, so we reached out to them. And it was Owen Lewis, who's brilliant. He's done a ton of stuff. He did a Snow Patrol record, tons of crazy records he's engineered and produced on. And then Ben Kramer, who has a solo career called Old Sea Brigade, which is huge. He's a maniac. He's wonderful. But Ben, we were having drinks one night, and Ben was like, hey, man, like, if this is what you want to do and this is who you want to be, he's like, you kind of got to, like, before the 1975 was the 1975, everybody knew who Matty Healy was because he was just out making friends. That's it. He's like, everybody knew that guy's face. Everybody loved him. Like, they were just his buddy. And so I was like, okay, like, I talk a lot. I love going out. Like, I'll go meet everybody. And I've been very blessed to have a few good friends who have steered me in the right directions. But honestly, just going out to where the scene is, going to shows is huge. I mean, you meet so many people. That's how I met Garrison from Camino, and a lot of those people was just going to shows, being social, smiling, and just, I mean, hanging out. Are
you an introverted guy or an extrovert?
I would say I'm an extroverted or an introverted extrovert. So like by definition, like I get energy from people, like being around people. That's what. Woo. Yeah. But I have recluse tendencies from time to time. Yeah. Like I need a reset at least once a week to just like whoo. But definitely very, very extrovert. I've got no problem talking.
Yeah.
And,
you seem like mostly extroverted.
Mostly extroverted, like 99.9% extroverted, and then there's a little Sunday afternoon introverted. Yeah.
See, we were at the Basement East last night, and that was a good time. We saw Penny and Sparrow.
Oh yeah, dude, they're great. We saw them in Austin. They were at South by, I believe.
They were hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you know, like their songs are slow and beautiful and deep.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just two guys and one acoustic guitar, and boy are they really good. But in between, you know, they're doing like crowd work, like a a stand-up comedian.
You gotta with those shows, man.
And they don't take themselves too seriously, and
you can't.
There's always, and this is why, and now that I'm not drinking, when stuff like this happens, I'm like, that's why I don't drink. Is the guy in the back who's had way too much by the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, boners and stuff like that. And everyone's like, and you know.
Yeah, you never want to be that guy.
You never want to be that guy.
I don't think I've been that guy yet. Well, there's maybe one night I was that guy.
I mean, it happens, but it's
Once.
like it's a penny and sparrow
Yeah,
show. Dude.
yeah. Never
like
at something like that. Never. It's always in the privacy of my own home.
Yes.
But yeah, dude, you just it's all things in moderation with that.
Yeah.
But that's such a true thing, especially with those acoustic shows. You've gotta have your jokes and your stories, and old Sea Brigade Ben was talking about it. He was like, yeah, dude, like the band shows are great because you could just go up there and and go, and like I'm very lucky in that way. Which like again with the acoustic shows, I don't really have a problem talking. Like I'll go up there and tell stories and talk, but that's one of the best things about the band is like it's not expected of me to tell stories, and so like I can get up there and be like, I've been ready, and do all that and get it going. But then like when we slow things down and I do get to talk, it's people are like, wait, what the fuck, we get this too? And it's like a fun thing. Like my favorite front men are like Dave Grohl and Bruce Springsteen. So I'm like, I gotta get up there. I gotta like be sweating my fucking balls off this whole show, and B, I gotta tell some stories. So it's I didn't do that at Exit In though very much. My parents were like, one critique, you said "how we feeling" way too many times. I was like, yeah, I did say that.
I mean, I didn't notice.
That's good.
I didn't notice. But
I'm good at faking it.
yeah, exactly. I just had something to say and it just totally escaped my mind.
But yeah, the to kind of tie it back in, going out and making friends. If you want to sell 1 million records, you got to make 1 million friends, and that's kind of just the truth of it.
Yeah, and we're starting to wear earplugs to shows.
That's good. Good.
Yeah, because my girl and I went to one, and it was like we were way too close to the front. Well, we saw Betcha.
Oh yeah, love those guys.
Yeah, and they played with 90s kids who you should know because they're from the area.
Yeah. And then the thing happens where like people come up to you and it's like, hey man, and they're like, you can tell when somebody's like, how's it going? And like I'm always gonna be like, hey dude, like tell me about yourself. How we doing? Like what was your day like today? What's going on? And just because I love talking, and most everybody does, and in my line of work, like we love to chat. And so
you don't mind getting approached?
No, not at all. I love it. I actually, so dude, I fairly recently, at bars and stuff, people will like come up and be like, hey man, like I was at the show, I really loved it, and that's wonderful, like that. But you kind of expect that in those scenarios, but like getting recognized in public has just started outside of shows, outside of bars.
Yeah, look
it's
at you.
Just started happening, and it happened in the funniest way. I can't believe I didn't talk about this earlier. So I was driving around. I was driving around, and I was in traffic on Wedgwood, and this kid sideswiped my car. And luckily there was no damage. Like
the Tundra?
Yeah, he barely kissed the bumper, and like he didn't dent it, just like a little teeny paint scratch. I was like, dude, you're fine. But so I like point over to the gas station on 8th and Wedgwood, and so kid follows me into the thing, and he gets out of his car. He's like, wait, you're in a band, right? I was like, oh, this guy's gonna say all the right things. I was like, my car better be fine, because like I'm about to let this kid go. And he goes, Thing with Feathers, yeah? And I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, I really love your stuff. I was like, shut the up, man. And then like luckily he was like, I'm so sorry I hit your car.
First of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, I love your music.
I was like, oh my god, how like you never hear stories about like if somebody were to hit Bruce Springsteen's car, Bruce Springsteen's not gonna be a prick about it, so I couldn't be a prick about it. So like
maybe he saw you, wanted to meet you.
Yeah, so he tagged the car.
He tagged you and was like, oh,
I'm sorry, man. Hey. But yeah, so there was that, and then like luckily, thank God, I went over and looked at the car. I was like, all right, just give me your insurance, and if I need to do anything, I'll call you. But like I was just like, you said all the right things. Get the fuck out of here. He was like, thank you for being cool, man. I was like, yeah.
Okay. So hey, I want to be respectful of your time. We're coming up on an hour, a buck 20. I almost said a minute 20.
Yeah.
Hey man, I appreciate you coming over.
Of course, dude.
Anything you want to plug? Any tour dates coming up? I mean, I feel like, man, I could just keep talking to you all day. It's like I feel like I've known you forever too. I mean, look at us. We're already finishing each other's
sentences, sandwiches. maybe.
Tacos.
Tacos. Dude. Tacos are great.
Yes.
I love tacos. Val and I, sorry, I'm extending this thing, and I'll be respectful of your time, but I've got one more story. Val and I want to take a trip. We want to rent a car out in L.A., drive it down San Diego, go to the Baja, and take it all the way to Austin. And our goal is we're gonna make a documentary while we're doing this. But we're gonna search for the best taco in the American Southwest, and just drive around and go do that. We're gonna find time once we're all not playing a million shows. But to plug, we're gonna be in Charlotte May 13th at Evening Muse. We're gonna be in Atlanta May 14th at Smith's Old Bar, and then there's too many dates in June, but we've got a run in June with Gold Park, and then we're gonna be doing more throughout the summer. And we're going to start releasing music soon, so keep your eyes open. Follow us on Instagram. Do all the things. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, I might have to bang on my roommate's door and have us take a picture together. Every time I interview someone, I always forget to get a picture with them.
Absolutely.
And I literally all 5, 6 of them I just totally forget to. I'm reminding myself
Good.
now.
Well,
we're going to end it.
We'll take the picture. I'll make sure.
How about in front of Simon over there? How about that?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, all right.
Simon?
I just came up with it. All
he
right.
looks like a Simon.
Dave, I appreciate it, man.
Dude, absolutely.
Love ya.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Man. I appreciate it.